Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to The Hunter and the Beast, where I finally have to make this decision that I've been dreading since yesterday's episode. I'm really torn on what to do here. I do not think that we are going to win this battle, or if we do win this battle, let me start over. We could totally win this battle, but I think doing so will be very expensive in terms of manpower. And then we beat those lizard men, but that army is still nearby. They're not completely destroyed, right? My concern here with fighting this is that we might be able to hold out, but that if we did beat them, both the settlement garrison and our army would be so shredded as to make it trivial for Itza to just run right over. And, like, I think that winning this battle would kill us. Is what I'm trying to get across here. So, Griebitz Bootlicka started pretty close to us, but he had to move through some jungle to engage with us. What I'm thinking is that it may be the case. Can we see? Hold on a second. There's a scout terrain button. I'm curious. This will show us the map that the battle would take place on. Okay, it does not show us the direction of the reinforcements. That's a shame. What I'm thinking here is that he's largely between us and the city, I think, because we're like to the west and he was northeast of us. So I think he came down. I think the reinforcements would come in at an awkward angle. I just think this battle would be really bad. If we retreat, he started his turn nearby, but in the jungle because the battle between us and the lizard men like pushed his army away, which is a weird thing that happens. So he had to move through some jungle to get to us. If we retreat and fall back, we might retreat far enough that that he can't catch us. If we retreat from the battle and he can still reach us, this army's gonna get annihilated. But the settlement garrison won't be involved anymore, and so they'll probably survive. I'm very torn. I think we have to retreat, but I think that both options are pretty bad here. It's just a lot of enemies is the thing. It's really a large number of bad guys that we've had to fight here. Let's fall back. I think let's fall back.
Reposition.
So that pushed us. I was kind of hoping we'd end up on the other side of the city from him. That's not good. Oh. Okay, so you can see, like, even with him going into march mode, that was all the movement he had left. Moving through the jungle, parts of the jungle, is really, really slow. I think that I was right. I think he didn't have enough movement to catch us there. That's maybe the best way that could possibly have gone. Okay, Conroy Olden has gotten a hedge wizard, so extra magic. In the power reserve refers to the little bar, not the globe with the number in it. So extra power that will leak into the globe over the course of the battle. And the Vampire Coast Mutineers were destroyed. Okay, so that just it looks like that just gave us that character that we would have gotten by declaring war on them. That's actually really cool for us. That's huge. So we killed one of the dudes from Itza. Yeah, you can see if we use all of our movement, we can't even catch up with him. Movement through the jungle is so bad, but that retreat move that you do away from people moves you a set distance away from them, regardless of the intervening terrain. I have seen it happen where, like, an army attacks this way against an army here, they retreat, and it moves them, like, over to here, because it's just straight line, get over there, which means that they actually, like, run all of this distance, and it looks like more than a full turn worth of movement. So we got saved there a little bit by it being impossible to chase people in the jungle, basically. Alright, let's have a look at this. So we got a bailiff, which will equip on somebody. Markus Wolfhart has become an executioner. He has a reputation now. Enemy leadership down in his entire region is a pretty powerful thing, especially when fighting low leadership forces like orcs. This makes it much more likely that they will scatter early. The Vampire Coast Mutineers were murdered to pieces by somebody. That's a concern. So these settlements appear to have been burned down. It looks like somebody just destroyed their territory. It could be the case that that's actually what happened. It could also be the case that they were overtaken by Skaven. Skaven cities are built underneath the ground, and at the top level, they look like just ruined cities. So we might have Skaven on our border, which would be really bad for us. I don't know. I guess we'll find out, huh? Markus Wolfhart got a level up. It's good news for us, so we can start taking this stuff. So these skills are really powerful, but they only affect units that are gold ranks, and right now the only gold rank units we have are war wagons. So let's take the war wagon thing, and then we'll probably go off into some of the other lines for a little while, and come back and get the rest of these when our army's actually ready to take advantage of them. 10% reload time reduction, 12% damage up, plus 20% ammunition. So very, very good, especially for the mortars. The mortars are going to get so much benefit out of that extra ammo. And for right now, you're definitely going to take the rest of Fleetfinger. Yeah, for right now, we could just... Can we reach them? They're right on the border of our movement. How much is left of this army? With us having all of that ammo in the war wagons and refreshed mortars and stuff, we might be able to just take these dudes. Oh, also our new guy is here. Hertwig von Hall. A physician by choice, but a witch hunter by bloodline. Dr. von Hall both preserves natural life and destroys unnatural evil. So he has the ability to damage walls, to kill enemy characters, and to reduce the movement range of enemy armies. And he's probably just like a really powerful combat unit. I'm a big fan of the witch hunter as a fighting unit. The witch hunter levels his finger across the battlefield and accuses an enemy of arch heresy, which for some reason really lowers their defensive stats. I'm not sure what the logic is there. There's definitely some magic going on. But he's just a real good murdering guy. He likes to fight the undead, and he has lowered our diplomatic relations with the Vampire Coast. Oh well. Yeah, would you please join this army? I would love it if you would get in here and help us kill lizards. I bet we can take these guys. We can mostly take them without actually getting into melee, I think. Yeah, let's knock them out. This might be a safe auto-resolve, but we're going to do it manually just so that we don't lose any units of spearmen. Ought to be a pretty quick battle. And we get to play with our new unit. It's a real shame. This unit of war wagons almost regenerated to full health, so sadly, we only have 3 war wagons instead of the 4 we should have. Their actual lord is at none health, so we'll kill him pretty much instantly with Markus, and that will turn the tide of the battle very much in our favor, because they're going to be getting shelled by artillery and stuff. I'm guessing we're going to see some breaks really early here. Our melee troops may almost not even get attacked. Okay, so they set up over there. I'm fine with 18. 18 is a good starting amount of winds of magic. So the new guy does not have Vanguard deployment. Yeah, that seems like a fine starting angle.
Missiles will fly.
That's what I'm hoping. And then I'm going to just kind of keep the melee units back here. We'll see if it's necessary to drag them forward. Hopefully it won't be. Alright, the special archers, you guys can be over here as well. And then you guys are familiar with this strategy at this point. Let's get ourselves a kill. I think he should get this, right? For a second there, I thought he wasn't even going to fall over. Okay, you guys can start falling back now. Should probably remember to control group them so that I can grab them easily. We don't have any lack of attention issues. And let's have the mortars start firing at the healthiest unit. It's not really very focused at the moment. Yeah, I think we're gonna see some units breaking real soon here. All right, we ought to step the melee forward, I guess. I don't really want them forward, but just in case these guys don't break quite as quickly as I'm hoping they will. All right, so what is your range? Your range is okay. I guess the frenzy is definitely an issue. We have to be We have to be ready to melee them, because some of them are not going to run when it makes sense for them to run, because lizard men. Come on, follow the war wagons. Follow the war wagons. Almost. We almost kept them from engaging in melee. Oh no, they're coming back. Let's see some mortar fire right there, perhaps. You two get out here and break some stuff. Alright, he's actually just run straight into the lizards. Not maybe my best play. You know what, he's doing alright. Yeah, just try to get through there, buddy. Okay, he's broken them with his fury. I'm choosing to believe that that is what happened there. He broke them with his fury. Wow, I don't think that fireball hit anybody. Okay, but this force is now... I'm gonna actually let our units... Let's make sure we get some kills here. Just in case they do survive. In case this army does not get immediately eliminated on the map level, I want to make sure that there's almost nothing left here that can come back to haunt us. Obviously, we are not done with Itza, not by a long shot, but let's try to limit the immediate repercussions. Okay, that's good enough. A decisive victory. I was hoping we'd be able to kill them mostly before they even got into our battle line. We lost 85 men there. Not ideal. Remarkably good work from the elf. Her skill seems to be very powerful. So now that we've done this, we still have to be wary of that army of blue vipers, but they can't just take the settlement, not quickly at least, because they don't have any siege damage. So they're gonna have to build siege weapons if they want to try it. So we might have temporarily stabilized. Like, obviously, let's not get too comfortable here, but I think we've bought ourselves some time. The northern territories are under control, and they're not even about to rebel on us or anything. They're not making us a ton of money either, but they should be stable, at least for a while. So now we have to try to figure out how to deal with this Blue Viper thing. We gotta get this Blue Viper war over with so that we can get back to focusing. Man, fighting lizardmen is really good for your cash, though. Okay, and we did just wipe the army out completely, which is fantastic.
You are more dedicated.
Hard to imagine that it is wrong to just increase the effectiveness of our spells. So when we put the second point into a spell, we get access to the Overcast version of it. It also lowers the cooldown. The Overcast version of Fireball does a bunch more damage, it explodes harder, but it has a 50% chance of a miscast. When you miscast, the spell still goes off, but also your wizard burns themselves very badly on the mana. They'll take a bunch of damage. You can only afford like a couple of miscasts per battle before it starts to get like really ugly. Okay, so we expended exactly all of our movement there. We could go into March mode, but we wouldn't even make it back to the city. I still think I'm going to, just because I want to get out of the jungle. Let's get onto the road. And we are now... Ooh, I'm not sure if we are within the city's area of effect. We're certainly close. So if the orcs turned around and tried to fight us, we would get the garrison. And the garrison has now had a turn of replenishment, which is wonderful. Okay, we're very slightly negative on replenishment here, but I think we want to... leave taxation on. This is almost all of our money income, so it's probably a good idea to leave it on. We could, I guess, cut the growth and go back to Festag. It's maybe worth doing. Yeah, that's fine. Pay the price in growth a little bit, but it's not too bad. We can upgrade the port. It goes from 100 to 150 income and also 10 extra growth. And it gives us some acclaim, right? Port upgrades are good. We're getting closer to being Imperial Guardians, which sounds just wonderful. So yeah, let's do that. Let's spend a bunch of money upgrading this port. We have enough population to do this upgrade. Maybe I should do that first. Yeah, let's prioritize that. I want to get this... This settlement needs to be more powerful.
Wizard.
Oh yeah, and this guy has not moved around yet.
The way is known.
We have another legendary hunter to gain. So how much... We gained a fair amount of acclaim just from getting the new hunter. Does it say on here... Okay, it's 20. So getting another hunter will take us to 19, and then upgrading the port will get us past the thing. Or if we could just take some territory, that would also work. I mean, there's a lot of orcs over here. How's this stuff going? I wish we had a better sense of how the war between the orcs and the New World colonies is progressing. It doesn't look like the New World colonies are actually pushing it all, so we can see all of their armies way back here in defensive positions. If we were allied with them, we could ask them to attack certain settlements, but as it is, we just kind of have to hope that they decide to do the thing we want them to do. Oh, interesting. Itza is very weak right now. Did you see how low the balance of power bar was? I wonder if we should decline this peace treaty and just try to kill them. If we could maybe push through right now. We're pretty battered. We should take the peace treaty. We have enough going on. I think that was both of our forces agreeing to kill each other at some later date. Right now there are other problems. If we tried to push south with the Hunts Marshal, the orcs would devour us. As much as this is definitely an opportunity, the price we would pay would perhaps be too high. And hey, they even gave us like a whole turn worth of income, because our income is very sad. Okay, Griebit's Bootlika has escaped. Some armies have access to a movement mode that allows you to ignore terrain, and the orcs are one of those armies. So we have no idea where they went. They could be anywhere. They're probably somewhere around here, is my guess. I bet they went that way.
My arrow flies true.
Okay, we are going to be back at full health very soon. I don't think... It doesn't actually show the timer, probably because we don't have an open slot in the army, but I believe there's a 10-turn timer after a Regiment of Renown gets killed out of your army before you can recruit them again. I still think we wanted... Even though I think that Unbreakable is mostly a bad thing on units like Swordsmen, we still want them over a normal unit of Swordsmen because they are rank 9 and they have much better stats. I guess let's just have you guys sit here. Let's just take advantage of the replenishment, get strong as quickly as we can. Andreas Nussbacher can run over here. We have not been reading a lot of the fiction. I'm always a little unsure what the audience wants in that arena. There's a bunch of fiction attached to each of the fancy hunters here. You can see multiple pages of text, and I've not been stopping to read it, and I guess I'm highlighting it all now so that if you want to read it, you can pause the video and look at that. Let me know, though, if you would prefer that I spend the time to read that stuff. I know that some people do like it when I narrate things. Do we want to upgrade Chotek, or do we want to save population for upgrading the temple to the next level? Getting up to tier 4 would not give us anything extra on our wizard building, nor on our barracks. It's not really a high priority. I guess it would unlock 2 more building slots. That's pretty significant. Let us get a couple more of these purple buildings in, and thus access to cool units. Yeah, maybe that's the right move. If we took this to level 3, we'd be able to upgrade the cattle ranch even more, and that's not bad. But it's probably not good enough to spend the population, which is a pretty difficult to come by resource. So I guess we're just not doing very much this turn. How's my research going? We're 5 turns out from having Imperial reinforcements. We're a very long time from receiving our next care package. We got that last one just in time, though. The mortars have been completely instrumental in our victories. Yeah, I guess we're just sitting. every once in a while you need to take a couple of turns off of fighting to let people sew their arms back on and whatnot. So the little balance of power bars give us some idea of how we're doing relative to the other players. It looks like our army is more powerful than Hexawaddle's is. They're having some trouble up there, which is good for us. I'm not expecting to see forces from Hexawaddle show up at our door at anytime soon, but the more powerful they are, the more likely it is that they will send someone over just to mess with us. I really, really don't need that on top of everything else. But now that our army's feeling healthy again, we might want to head toward the Orc lands and try to lay some ambushes. Catch some of these armies out of position. It's going to be tough for us to fight this many orcs all at once, so we'd better not do that. A great migration comes to our borders, demanding shelter from larger threats abroad. Yeah, I can see why they might need to do that. We let them cross into our territory or turn them away. I am a big fan of plus growth in all provinces. Yeah. We can take that public order hit. 5 turns of -3 per turn. Also, an Electrocount has contacted you anonymously, and he's sending us troops. Unfortunately, not for a little while, but he is sending us troops. Alright, we'll be almost back at full health next turn if we stay in the settlement. If we just stay within our own borders, we'll still get some healing. It'll probably be enough to heal up everybody except this guy. So here's what I'm thinking. We advance on them a little bit.
Markus,
Make it so that the settlement looks empty. Go into ambush mode with our tremendously improved ambush chance, and the base ambush success chance here is quite high. Because jungle land is always like that. And hopefully we can catch them moving into us in a disorganized fashion and just obliterate one of these armies. That would be pretty useful.
ready.
This dude is... I mean, I think we're pretty close. This is the northern Great Jungle. Show me exactly where I need to go again. Okay, so we need to be further down. Well, we can get there by just moving through the mountain range. There's a road that runs through the pass. As long as we don't run into any enemy agents that are feeling particularly murderous. Cavern of the Mlexigor. These guys are having some real public order problems. Ah, because there's a lot of Skaven corruption in this area. Somewhere nearby there are ratmen. That's a real problem for people who are not me. We're going to need 4,800 gold in 4 turns to do this upgrade, if that is indeed what we want to do, and I think that it is. But also, upgrading the Imperial Harbor, man, I really want to get our acclaim up. I think we're just not going to build anything for a minute here. Just keep bringing in the money. We're going to end up at -42 public order when this event runs out. And then, I mean, once that happens, we should be okay. We should not have to worry about another rebellion, I think. Once we open up some more building slots, we could build a tavern, a public order building in that settlement, and try to control it that way. And we're not at war with any lizardmen who are adjacent to us right now, but we have to remember there is a lizardman nation right there, and they're not going to be our friends. If we're going to deal with the Blue Vipers, we got to do it quickly. Unfortunately, the Blue Vipers have a tremendous number of units, the balance of power bar would like to inform us. So I'm not really sure how we're going to deal with them. What we need is for somebody else to show up and help us. Alright, you remember that magic elf sword I was talking about? If you win a battle against the army that is carrying it and kill the carrier, you get to claim it for yourself. So the elf factions are probably going to pass it back and forth for a while. I don't think it's anything we need to worry about.
Monster Hunter.
Alright, what do we want to do with you? We could level up your blue actions. The ability to just kill a hero out of an enemy army is actually very powerful, but I think we need him as a fighter more than anything else. I think we just need a lot of fighters. Then again, we're not going to have the ability to murder people on the map anytime soon, except for using him. So maybe we should focus on this. Let's go ahead and level up Assassinate. Oh, you know what we should also do, actually, is fix up his gear. So actually, it probably makes more sense for him to have glittering scales. Actually, it probably makes more sense for him to have the Armor of Fortune. His ranged attack is a lot lower range than the elf's is, so he's way more likely to end up in melee. He should have the Shrieking Blade. He should probably have the Talisman of Preservation. He is now our frontline hero, and then we can attach some dudes to him. And he is driven by vengeance. He sure does hate the undead.
Traitors always get found out in the end.
Then we'll swap the glittering scales over onto her. Okay, so equipment takes a turn to move over. That stuff's not actually there yet. Man, it's really hard to know what the right move is here militarily, because we can't attack them, right? One thing we could do is try to creep across the river over here. Man, I hate the fact that that settlement has an upgraded garrison. They both do now. Alright. We're going to try to get ourselves some vision over here, and I'm going to try to stay in ambush mode as much as possible. At this point, it's pretty unlikely that we would catch any of their armies moving, but I don't want them to know where I am.
Deathly silent.
This guy is working a little hard on the necromancer thing. We did it! Yorick Grimm joins the expedition. Finally, contact was made with the Spine of Sotek dwarves. They are a strange lot, and it took quite some time for you to convince them your intentions were not belligerent. Once you described who you were seeking, the throng's leaders told you it sounded very much like the master engineer, Yorick Grimm. I'm assuming that they do soft J's. I guess I don't actually know that. A secretive dwarf who has spent long periods of time outside their hold. It was unclear to his kin what Yorick was doing on his forays, nor did they bother to ask. After being introduced, he agreed to join your cause, but something tells you this eccentric dwarf's services may cost you a little more than a mercenary's reckoning. Yeah, we should be paying attention to what we need to do to upgrade these guys, right? So he has to be... any hero has to be moved to the Vampire Coast to move his thing forward. Ooh, just a broad increase to his success chances is pretty valuable. And then, new guy... He wants us to gain access to iron and timber so that he can build his cool items. He grants access to a unique unit and ancillaries, and he can increase the ammunition capacity for our whole army, huh? Or for the artillery in our army. And he increases the army's move range even more. You know how I feel about that. So trade resources up. Ooh, that's really good. He's going to help beat our meager ranged units into a proper killing army. Well, I'm pretty happy about that. Where is he right now? Did he spawn next to the army? He totally did. Okay, so we have a question. Do we want to kick somebody out of this army to fit him in? Actually, you know what I'm going to do with him right now? I'm going to just move him. Just have him run over to... where's it that... somebody needs to go to the Vampire Coast. Which region is the Vampire Coast? It's this one. Is this part of it? This isn't, though, right? Okay, so we need to move somebody to, like, right here. Actually, sorry, it says the region called the Vampire Coast, though, not the province, the Vampire Coast. Is there a region that is called that? This is the Blood Swamps. This is the Awakening, and this is the Poxmarsh. So no, there is not a region that is called that. Oh, just regions that are currently owned by... So it's not even the Vampire Coast. You want to find the faction called the Vampire Coast. Well, hopefully they're still over here somewhere. The thing is, I think we really want to level him up in combat, though.
Markus Wolfhart.
Should we maybe disengage Hartwig? Yeah, alright, that's what I'll do for right now. I think his level is maybe a little bit less important. It still matters, but he's also more likely to get value from doing stuff on the world map.
Monster Hunter.
Does that mean I want to move the armor back over? We don't need to put the armor on this guy. He's definitely a gun unit. I'm just going to let him hold on to the armor for right now. We can swap it back if it looks like we're in danger. So we should be at 19 acclaim now. Which means we're making, you know, as much as we're kind of just standing around, we're making actual progress on our victory condition. I feel bad for the enemies up there. Celestra Direfin is the bad news, man. Hopefully we will not end up at war with her. But yeah, if we can find a way to cross the river and hit that southern Blue Viper settlement, we might be able to get them to spread their armies out a little bit in such a way that we could actually take them one by one. What we really need is a second army, but we're not going to be able to afford the upkeep on a second army anytime soon. Not really sure how we will manage that one, actually. Okay. He's good at helping with construction. Not like personally helping with construction, I'm sure, but helping yell at others until they do construction. Let's stick to the road for right now. Actually, we'll probably have Hertvig go out on a boat and just sail around until we find some Vampire Coast land.
Markus Wolfhart.
The orcs mostly seem content to just sit around and do nothing, which is weird. Okay, we get to buff up her missile damage aura. We should probably take that before we do anything else.
Only the dedicated.
Are they actually... They're not actually recruiting. Ornery has been at 5 units for quite some time, so they're just kind of hanging out?
Markus Wolfhart.
Yeah, that's weird.
Very well.
Let's move right over to the shore. Okay, so that army that we saw is still hanging around here as well.
The nation calls.
I am not at all sure what a good move looks like here. How do we advance against a force of this size? Ooh, we have building slots. Let's maybe get some income going. We're not taxing this region right now, but we probably need this income. And this building will pay itself off remarkably quickly. How long do we have on that event? 3 more turns of -3 public order. I think we can turn on taxation now. That way we'll get the... I guess it doesn't need to be on this turn. But we should turn the taxation on the turn that this is going to complete, because I believe you do finish your buildings before you get paid for the turn. Alright, this guy's just coming home. Yeah, what we really, really need is to get a second army going. And I just don't know how we're going to pull that off. It seems like they really reduced the amount of income that comes in via docks, either for this force or maybe just in general. Because we're not making that much. Oh god, is she declaring on me? Okay, well hopefully that'll be just one of those things where they shout at you from across the ocean, and not so much a thing where she actually attacks us. The AI loves to declare war on forces that it perceives as being weaker than it is, but it doesn't always actually come to any conflict. Oh, that's interesting. That force of lizardmen to our east is looking a lot weaker than they were a couple of turns ago. They may have just lost a big battle. And the orcs are content to just turtle. That's really awkward. If we could get a peace treaty from them, we could try to push some other direction, but they're not going to give it to us because they're more powerful than we are and they're not afraid. So how do we deal with that? We can't attack them, but if we ever were to leave our settlements unguarded, we'd always have to be afraid that they would come in and attack us from the back. I think I'm going to grab the Burning Head. We could use another fire spell. We'll probably get Kindle Flame with our next point. A map-wide reduction in ability to survive being set on fire. Okay, now let's do this. Do we want to upgrade this thing? Another % replenishment rate? We probably don't want to spend the money, actually. Because next turn we're going to be able to do that upgrade.
Markus Wolfhart.
Yeah, this is really bad. Let's check the diplomacy menu real quickly here. First of all, time for a check-in with the New World colonies.
The land provides all I need.
Nope.
So what could you offer?
Still no new business available. We are very slowly earning money off of this trade contract. We probably overpaid for it slightly. The Order of Lore Masters we might be able to talk them into something.
Known for my patience.
They have a port, we have a port, we could do some... look at how much money they'd make off of this. This would be great for you.
If I must.
Okay, and then because we now have a treaty, we're trending toward 15, which means we might be able to get some actual alliance going. God, it would be good to have a friend or two, right? Oh wait, hold on, sorry. The whole reason I went in there was I wanted to check... Okay, you are now strength rank 51, we are strength rank 49, so very similar. They only have one settlement. I wonder if we could just sweep in and kill them. You know what we really need is we need to get some idea of what's going on over here. My ignorance is making it hard for me to plan. But I mean, that's a job for this guy. Yeah, let's get in the water and then sail around the coast a little bit and see if we can't get eyes on. And even if we found out that like this was theoretically attackable, and it has a really small garrison, it would be so dangerous to leave our settlement. Okay, let's fall back. Let's get ourselves in a position where we could at least think about crossing the river.
Death is not the end.
You know what? Why don't you come over here and search these ruins? I forgot all about this. This is a thing we needed to do for a quest, right? Throughout the old world, the Old Ones left vast troves of power for use by their most trusted servants. To prevent such power falling into the wrong hands, they placed wards and cryptographic locks over them. As millennia have passed, these wards have weakened, but the arcane locks remain. So solve the puzzle. Solitude is always desired. So these puzzles are not always great. Sometimes they have multiple valid solutions, and you just have to guess which one is right. So, solitude is always desired. It wants us to select the shape that presumably is unique in some way, which is tricky here. I guess, okay, this is a unique shape. This shape is not unique in color or shape, this is not unique in color or shape, and this is not unique in color or shape, so this one's pretty straightforward.
The worldly strength.
We got 500 gold back for just doing the thing, and then also we actually got the treasure, which was 1,000 gold, and also there was a guy in there for some reason. Okay, cool. Free rat catcher. And the evidence you observed observed yourself at the ruins does make it seem plausible that the men were slaughtered by some sort of beast. Still, the use of weapons of war could not be conclusively ruled out. This would make probably more sense if we were actually reading her flavor text. Kalara's resolve is strong, however, and you feel compelled to believe her. After all, the hunting senses of a waystalker are not to be underestimated. So now we have to win 3 battles against the lizard men. You know what? Something tells me we're going to pull that off, and she will become fervent, which is fine. It doesn't really help us that much, because we're probably not going to have her doing a lot of map actions. She's probably mostly going to be shooting people. It did level up our wizard. You know, maybe what we need to be doing is a lot more lizard man puzzles. Maybe that's how we'll finance our second army. Oh, they're offering me... No. Sorry, what? Why? To what end? That seems completely insane to me. They broke off a valuable trade agreement to declare war on someone they're friendly with, but who they don't have any ability to actually, attack. Because they're extremely distant. The AI in this game, on a strategic level, just sometimes totally baffles me. Nobody ever wants to be friends. In theory, you should see, like, power blocks build up, but people just attack each other or people go to war for absolutely no reason when there is literally nothing to gain so often that it's kind of hard to assemble such a thing. Rebit's bootlicker moved up to the Temple of Kara, so they're massing their forces together, presumably to move on us. Hard to imagine why else they would do that. But the New World colonies just pieced out of their war with Skeggy, so now they're only at war with these orcs. Hopefully that'll give us a little bit of pressure to work with. Your warriors range deep into hostile lands, but all is not well. There are dark omens abroad, as if the shadow of some horned god was watching from the evil moon above. The army is fettered by Morsleb's glare. We could risk his wrath, or we could improve our omens by spending a lot of money. For some reason, that would improve our omens. I don't really want to spend that money. If we spent the money, we would dip below the amount that we need to do the settlement upgrade, but we'd be able to do it next turn instead. And 5 leadership is not insignificant. I'm gonna not pay. We're gonna risk his wrath, and then also stuff is happening. Many of the Empire's best hunters are employed by your expedition. Oh yeah, I could see how that might be an issue. This has caused a problem back home in the provinces, where the paucity of good hunters has resulted in an explosion in the deer population. The prolifically multiplying herbivores have been feeding on pastures used by livestock farmers, in turn affecting food supplies in villages and cities that traditionally depend on animal husbandry for food. The pockets of famine have also caused disease outbreaks. If you don't live in an area where you have to deal with deer, let me tell you something. You really, really don't want an explosion in the deer population. They are incredibly destructive animals. So we could... We don't have the option of getting more favor from Vissenland, which is a shame. So we could send food back to Hawkland. It'll cost us a little bit of growth for a while, and it really is just a little bit of growth. The Elector of Stirland wants to strengthen the Empire's political position to help uphold morale back home, which will heighten the hostility level. Honestly, might be a good thing for us. Or we could send them medical supplies, which will damage the casualty replenishment rate of all of our units. I really don't want to do that. So, who do we want to be friends with? I'm trying to think of what I know of the various factions. I think I know that they make rifles in Hawkland, maybe? I think the Hawkland long rifle is a thing, is a phrase I've heard before. And Stirland, I think, is where the halflings are from. So, they make good food there. I think we like an increase in the hostility level. I could really use another shipment from back home, and I'm not too afraid of the little buff this might give to our enemies. Let's take the favor of Stirland. Okay, hostility up. This will speed up our Imperial supplies. You take a very minor public order penalty. That is totally fine. Alright, give me that. I want that very much.
Powers of oblivion.
We might not have this guy come right home. It might be better to have him, search around a little bit. Some more information about what's going on in the world would definitely be useful. What would the cost be to start a second army? 624 of our income would go into just paying for the logistical cost of the army. And then, obviously we have to hire troops and stuff, so we really, really can't afford it. We could afford to have a huntsman general run around by himself, but that's about as far as that goes. Oh, we could do some treasure hunting as well. You can't pick these up with a hero, but if you have an army, go to these sites in the water. You can sometimes make an awful lot of money out of them. We are still just looking for the Vampire Coast more than anything, and trying to figure out what's happening with these guys. If there really is a force of Skaven over here that are taking things over, and they want to kill off this Lizardman force for us, that would actually be totally fine. And yeah, in fact, look at how much Skaven corruption there is. I mean, it says it's all from events. Maybe there aren't any rats over here? Maybe. And we have our Imperial reinforcements, which is just fantastic. So let's figure out our next move. We probably need to start focusing on our economy, right? So, income from industry. Industry refers to the type of building that we just built here. You can see this is an industry-typed building. So once we have more of these, this could turn into a lot of money. It's 25 extra gold per turn from each of those. Income up from trade, and then it becomes more unit stuff. I mean, recruitment capacity up is a big deal. The assembly line... Oh, sorry, this is income from the settlement building. This is just the main building, which gives 60 per turn, so this is pretty bad. This is the thing that might be good to get. Research rate up, even more income from industry, and 10% cost reduction for all buildings. Totally matters. God, I would love to get access to some mines. Think of how good things would be if only we could run a mine. I think I'm going to take assembly line here. We don't really have the buildings for this to be good just yet, but we will. We're certainly building in that direction. Okay, one more turn on that. We do have to watch the temple. Temple's getting a little bit unhappy. When this completes, I believe this has one more point of public order on it than the previous level did, and then also with the extra slots we can build some stuff. We will almost certainly just build an industry building there, but we can also put up a public order structure. Oh, I forgot to move I was going to move my army over to here into ambush mode. That might turn out to actually be a pretty bad thing to have forgotten to do. Itza has become powerful once more, but we're not technically at war at the moment. Hopefully they're distracted. I would love it if like a whole lot of Skaven would just wipe out all of the lizardmen over here. I would so much rather fight Skaven. Skaven are really easy to kill with guns. It's not like the lizardmen where you shoot them with a rifle and it just makes them angry. Oh, Slanhopek currently has no army. And we are seeing some forces from the New World colonies sail south. Hopefully they'll start paying attention to the orcs. It looks to me like they're probably just going to sit in their settlements though, which does not really work for us. How dare they make the moves that are best for them and not the moves that are best for me? What are they thinking? Hey, that's pretty creepy. So I think blue means the area has a lot of vampiric corruption. The skulls appear and disappear based on the corruption of the land, and the color of their eyes tells you some things. Okay, do we want to upgrade this to... Yep, probably. That seems like a pretty important move right there. 4 turns left on this. Let's move this army, like I said, out to here somewhere where it will be very difficult for enemy armies not to wander into our radius. Set ourselves a nice ambush, and hopefully we can catch the orcs moving forward. And this guy doesn't really do that much if we send him home. We could use him to just like assault the enemy army over and over again. But I think let's explore instead. Let's see what's happening. No armies from Itza at their northern territories. That bodes pretty well for us. Let's see if we can get some movement from the New World colonies here. I'm still extremely annoyed about that lore master thing. It so much does not make any sense at all for them to declare war on me. If anything, it makes their lives harder because we were doing... Ooh. Well, we've met the Vampire Coast.
Madness is not weakness.
Okay, and we know where their territory is now, so it should be easy enough to land in it. They don't care for me, it turns out. Pretty much everybody doesn't really care for me. Boy, there sure are a lot of lizards in this jungle. Yeah, our next move, without question, has to be getting our economy in a place where we can have a second army. And if you have a second army, you can really pull some shenanigans. Oh, Skaven. That was a Skaven army that came out of Poxmarsh. This is definitely rat territory. Good to know. That'll be important information for later. But if you have an army that looks kind of weak, and you can use another army in ambush mode near them to set up a pretty powerful trap. The AI cannot resist charging at weak enemies. Here comes Greebits. Nope, there goes Greebits. Never mind. I can't believe they still have the High Sentinel, given the fact that all of their armies are over by me. Like, that's completely undefended. It has to be. There's no way they have enough troops to hold all of that down. Oh, the gods are angry. The omens are ill. Something you have done has angered the gods. Hey, Morsleib's not even... I don't care about Morsleib. Well, we could take another Growth penalty. Why? Wait. Why do I get a growth bonus from this? Your realm grows, but it comes at a cost? Okay. Well, our public order's not in a great place. We do have 1,000 gold right now, but I'd like to hold on to it. I think I'm going to do this. We may just end up having to put down another rebellion.
Yes. On march.
Okay. Vampire Coast. Can we get on land? There we go. Von Hall has found a lead. Hertwig returns to you in good spirits and renewed focus, explaining that he now has a solid lead in his search. The vampire he seeks is one of the infamous Pirate King's closest henchmen, who actively haunts the waters of the Vampire Coast to raise more potential recruits into his master's crews. To find him, some raiding may be necessary. Okay. I like him being focused very much. So perform the raiding action in any Vampire Coast region. That's a little inconvenient for me. We'll get a bunch of XP for Von Hall. I mean, whatever. That's not that exciting.
Everything die. Set forth.
Alright, so I'm assuming, now that we know that there's a ton of Skaven over here, I'm assuming what's happening to this this player is that they are just being Skavened. They're being Skavened right out of the game, which would suit us really well if they could maybe go ahead and finish the job there. So we can't attack the Temple of Kara. They have 40 units there. We could step over the line and start raiding, but with them having an army and a quarter, I think we would probably pay the price for that. If we could find a part of their territory that we can stand in where we won't be immediately attacked by them, something a little distant, we could try raiding that. But unfortunately, the way the borders are here, with the border being as close to their city as it is, we don't really have a lot of options on that front. We could go raid like Itza or something, but obviously that's going to have some consequences, some real bad consequences for us. I think the right move is just like hang out and let stuff build. We really just have to get our economy online. Oh. Okay, so Hexawaddle just took over that faction. That minor weakened Lizardmen faction was folded into Hexawaddle. So that is probably not going to save this settlement, I bet. There's a vampire agent out here killing Lizardmen, which we are totally cool with. Good for you. That does mean that all of a sudden, any agents in this area, like this one here, belong to a faction that hates me and is at war with me, which increases the danger to our wizard quite a bit. We might want to run over and try to take that guy down in hero-on-hero combat. Which unfortunately is a thing that we're not actually any good at. But we could have Van Hel go and do some of that kind of stuff. What is it that we have to do to get the 4th hunter? Oh, we just have to move any character. Okay. Right, this was my plan the whole time. Roderick joins the expedition. Once you'd brought your forces to mists surrounding the temple city of Slanhuapek. All of these Lizardman names, by the way, total guesses on the pronunciation. It did not take long for the Bretonnian swordsman to arrive at your camp. He revealed himself as being no mere soldier, but in fact a noble by the name of Roderick, also a guess, Langui, maybe? Who had seen his entire retinue slaughtered while on expedition into Lustria. Yeah, that happens. With the massacre of his men, Roderick was now without an army, or indeed a purpose. With a vengeful tone in his voice, he told you he was willing to offer his knowledge of Slanhuapek's defenses to enable a successful siege by your force, which of course you accepted. Also, the expedition has increased its level of acclaim, making great strides toward fulfilling the Emperor's mandate. Continue garnering acclaim to advance the expedition's progress, so when we get Imperial supplies, we'll have better stuff. I'm very excited about that one. And our hunter has leveled up. Yeah, we're taking this, no question. That's actually a really, really powerful skill. So I'm assuming his next objective is going to be, yeah, capture and occupy that thing. If we do that, we will be given something. some kind of thing. We don't know what. He's a cold-blooded killer, a true veteran combatant, and a true survivor. Capable of withstanding the worst of the worst. Well, all of our hunter guys are literally immortal, so they're all pretty good at that. Double experience gain for all units in the army when fighting lizardmen, and also a big leadership bonus. That's really useful, actually. Also, he gives physical resistance to lords and heroes who are nearby. That's very cool. And he's just a good melee fighter. 95 armor with a shield. Okay. Just a guy who's good at punching people. And also he can assassinate and assault garrisons and stuff. Well, I sort of want to fold him into the army too, right? Who do we want to kick out? I guess we could drop a unit of normal spears. We're getting a little thin on melee, though. Granted, he can probably wade into a unit of melee enemies and just take them down. We might be overcommitting on the heroes, the number of heroes in this army. He should probably be in the next army. What is his passive ability? All heroes have passives. So he's constantly increasing public order or lowering it in enemy areas. We could send him, we could just have him stand in the temple and push public order up. Or we could do that thing again where we intentionally provoke a rebellion. Since we don't have a ton to do otherwise, it might be a good way to get ourselves some money and experience.
True Knight of Britonia.
Let's have him just raise public order for right now. I don't really know what our plan is yet. Let's try to stabilize the situation more than anything. And a mere 20 turns from the next supply drop. Do I want to just put you back in the water and send you home? I sort of want him to get over here and help us kill heroes. So yeah, I guess we'll run this way.
Forward.
Again, information about what's going on in the world around us is probably a good idea. Seems like Luther Harkon does not care for me very much. Although, why was he so low on me? I don't know. He loves that we're at war with Hexoatl. Oh, you know what? It might have been him who was doing them in. Maybe the rats didn't have anything to do with it. Or maybe it was the rats and the vampires together. I guess we're gonna find out in a second here, because that army may attack that settlement. I guess that settlement does have walls, and that army probably has no siege weaponry. Although the vampire pirates do get access to some pretty excellent artillery units. Oh, and here's all of the rats. I don't really want to have rats on my border. Like, the constant Skaven corruption is a definite problem. But I still think I'd rather have rats than lizards. The rats are a threat in a much more insidious way. You can't solve that problem with an army except by going over and killing all of their settlements. But they're so much easier to fight, and frankly, they're kind of more fun to fight too. They do have a bad habit of spawning melee units up out of the ground in the middle of your archers, though. That would be tricky for us.
Deathly power.
Alright. Let's have a look here. If we wanted him to try to attack an enemy hero, he would have only a 30% chance of success. He has a level up here, so we have to decide, do we want to advance his spell casting so that he can eventually get to these really good spells, or do we want to just focus on making him really good at this thing? I think I'm going to focus on the spells. He will be the wizard for the second army, and that's a pretty powerful thing. Let's pick up Soul Blight. I do like Soul Blight quite a bit. Soul Blight can really mess with an enemy army. And then we're going to go ahead and do this anyway. We'll just take the roll. 31% because you get additional percentage chance at succeeding at actions based on the number of skill points you have spent.
Show me the accused.
Even if they're in other things.
Onwards.
Hertwig should probably be actually pretty good at this. And he has a chance to permanently kill the target instead of just wounding them. Alright, I think you're exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to be doing, which is unfortunately pretty boring. You know what we could have him do? We could have him run around in enemy territory. Not only can he show us what the orcs are doing while we get to keep this army in defense position, but he could also actually do some damage to them. We can level him up quickly that way. Yep, more income. Gold on hand really is not sufficient for maintaining armies. You want to have enough income that you are positive. Ooh, there are some points of interest generating out in the water just outside of our land. Maybe we should go get those. It's possible that moving our army out in that direction will provoke the orcs to run forward, but in theory they don't know that we're here anyway. Like, it'll look to them the same as it looks now, and they're not attacking us right now. Markus Wolfhard has gained ambush success chance without actually having to successfully perform any ambushes, so that's handy. And there's a Skaven army in my territory now. They've moved over from Lizardmen and are now in my land. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit nervous about that. What are they doing? Oh, a battle just took place here. We're definitely going to need vision of that. Pretty sure that's what those fireworks were. Hey you, could you maybe report back real quick? Wonder what that was. Alright, go mess with these dudes. Go and assault his units.
Desist at once.
Oh, I totally forgot about our quest. Our legendary item quest. Well, that's a fun way to suddenly gain 2,000 gold. Markus Wolfhard's chosen path is one of hardship, and oh yeah, we've seen this text, right? We succeeded at that. Now kill 1,000 enemies in battle. That will take very little time if we're fighting orcs. Wolfhard is too late. The colonies have been sacked and many innocents murdered. Though this is not the first time failure has blighted the Huntsmarshal's career, this time he feels that failure greatly. He declares that such atrocities will never again befall innocent imperial citizens. Solemnly, he pledges to swiftly seek out the perpetrators of this savage attack, and put every last one of them to the sword, or, just whoever he can find, really. It's all good. Alright, we failed our assault. As you can see, you get some XP on an attempted hero action no matter what. You get a lot more if you succeed. And we've encountered the Wandering Dead, a rogue army over here. Maybe that's what the orcs were fighting? Alright, we should not attempt to just kill this guy again, because it definitely won't work. Or, am I wrong about that? Okay. Sometime, when you attempt to assassinate a unit, they get a temporary debuff that makes it much less likely that assassinations will work on them for a while, but I guess the debuff is only 1 turn. I thought it was 2 turns in duration. Alright, we have wounded Bronze Claw. Ain't no laws when you got Bronze Claws. And then, yeah, definitely upgrade Soul Blight. So the second point in a spell gives you access to the Overcast and lowers the cooldown. The third point in a spell also upgrades the spell. It lowers the miscast chance, lowers the cost. It's generally a pretty useful point for spells that you are doing a lot with, and not so important for spells that you will only going to cast once per battle. Alright, I'm going to come over here and we're going to just throw some heroes at this problem. I would love to take this settlement over. I don't know how feasible that really is for us, but we'll see. We'll try it. Let's take Specialist. Make him better at actions in general. We're really going to pump up his abilities as a hero killer, but his other blue line actions still do matter. And we can now go Engineers Guild or Imperial University. I mean, obviously, Engineers Guild is more valuable the earlier you get it, and we're not in a big hurry to get any of the rest of this stuff. Yeah, let's just grab Engineers Guild now. Shave somewhere between half a turn and a turn off of an awful lot of researches over the course of the game.
My arrow flies true.
So we would not be able to get anywhere near this region right now. God, I just really want to fight stuff. And I am definitely a little concerned that my natural bloodlust is going to lead to me making a tactical error. But I think we're gonna head over in this direction. So this region also has Zahutek. Okay, so it's this long, narrow region here. It would be an okay thing for us to have. There is an iron mine, and also medicinal plants. Anything that we could add to our trade agreement would be really good. It's a little bit of passive income just from controlling the settlements. And who knows, maybe we can talk the elves into behaving reasonably and trading with us as well. It has performed the Rite of Awakening. Is that the dinosaur one? Oh, they've awakened a Slan Mage Priest. And the Lizardmen have a ritual that causes them to suddenly gain a big army full of dinosaurs. There's a bunch of feral dinosaurs come out of the jungle, and I'm hoping that we will not have to deal with that. We really don't have the army for dealing with dinosaurs right now. Although actually, ranged hero units, because they do so much damage per shot and because they tend to have a lot of armor piercing, are pretty good at that kind of thing. So who knows, maybe given our large cast of heroes, we'd be okay. Rosalind Butler attempted to assassinate Andreas Nussbacher and critically failed and wounded herself. Well, that's just very embarrassing. Okay, we're going to get so many reinforcements the next time Imperial supplies come in. It's going to be like a whole army worth of bonus awesome troops. So we probably, like, a real direct frontal assault is going to be tricky. We might want to do, like, an ambush creep here. Just move forward, but always go into ambush mode at the end of the turn. If the orcs push us now, it will suck a lot. Also, powerful storms. These don't really have any effect on land, but they make the nearby sea regions difficult to traverse. We don't have to worry about it. It's not a big deal. So we could just throw our heroes here, just like perform a steel technology. No, we cannot perform steel technology. Chance of success very low. Well, then maybe we can go and, I guess, scout these ruins. I mean, they've got to be Skaven cities, but our heroes can go and ascertain.
The Empire.
Let's see, you could attempt to assassinate this guy. His name is Deekpad? Alright, well, why don't you try to stab him right in the Deekpad?
I trust no man.
Okay. When you get a normal success on Assassinate, it merely wounds the hero, so it takes him off the map for like 5 turns, then he'll respawn somewhere. You have to get a critical success to permanently remove them. I think we're just going to take even more Specialist. We're leveling up our heroes relatively quickly here. Let's see, you could go forth and assault that garrison, and it's fairly likely that would work. Do they have any heroes that we need to be wary of? It looks like they might not really have heroes. Maybe we should come over here and search the floating pyramid. If it's actually empty, we could get another puzzle and potentially make some money off of it. And sometimes you get cool stuff in addition to the money. And it would still be levels for him, but I think we probably need to keep him over here so that he's keeping an eye on the orcs. Let's just have him sneak into the city and fight guys. Alright, so do we want him to become a map action hero as well, or would I rather have a good melee hero? I think let's train him up as an actual combat figure. He'll use map actions to level up, but he doesn't necessarily need to be great at them. Alright, and we have money and building space, and things are looking a little bit, cautiously I say, a little bit brighter. We should probably build a garrison structure here as well, but we need that money, first and foremost. We could also build, like I said, a tap room. If we upgrade it to a tavern, get a bunch of public order and also more witch hunters. I do like a good witch hunter. We also could build some roads. We haven't really talked about this at all, but being able to move quickly in your own territory is nice. I don't think it's vital. Or we could use this space to like make a shrine of Sigmar and get some warrior priests in here and some flagellants who are crazy dudes with maces. That's not bad. I don't know. An Imperial Academy is okay, just about training better units. We could use this to build ourselves a proper gunsmith as well. It's quite a bit of money, but the things you get access to with a proper gunsmith, like eventually great cannons and rocket batteries. I do love a Hellstorm rocket battery. Maybe let's not put anything here just yet. For the moment, we'll just we'll leave it empty. Yeah, for the moment, we'll leave it empty. The next thing we want to do, probably in this province, actually, is upgrade Chotek so we can also build a money building here. And let's see if the lizard men will allow us to sneak up. If that army leaves the settlement, we're almost close enough that we could just charge it immediately. But if one of the other forces in this area wants to bait that army out, that could be really, really powerful for us. I mean, it sure looks like they intend to do something. If somebody else takes this away from Hexawaddle, it's probably almost as good. Like, really, we really don't want Hexawaddle to have land that is on our border. I don't want to have to keep watch of another direction. We already have trouble from enough sides. So if somebody else takes this, I'm likely to just let them keep it for a while. We'll have to take it back eventually for our quest, obviously, but oh, they're doing stuff. They're making moves. Weird that they would only bring one of their armies across, though, instead of, like, pushing me with their real force. Maybe they're afraid of ambushes.
Markus, Wolfhart.
Why am I taking attrition?
Wolfhart.
Oh. The attrition... I guess this territory is getting too vampiric for me to feel comfortable in.
You are more dedicated.
Alright, probably grab Kindle Flame, and then I think this army has to turn around, right?
Okay.
Oh no, sorry, not just the wizard, the whole army.
Move, comrades!
Alright, this is the moment when the orcs suddenly remembered that they want to kill me. So we do have the population to move up, we just need a little bit more money. So yeah, that's probably our economic move is upgrade Chotek, build and upgrade the economic buildings in both of those slots. And then once we've got those running, we can probably afford to run a small secondary army for a while. Alright, he can go and do this. Sadly, this costs money, but I believe you get the money back if it turns out to be a Skaven settlement. We have revealed that there are in fact dudes here. Not just a Skaven settlement, but also some weapons teams. The Skaven, if you're not familiar, have a whole, like, mad scientist thing going on. They're going to have flamethrowers and Gatling guns and all kinds of bizarre stuff. Stuff that we really don't want to be messing with. Do we want a 3rd level of Soul Blight? I bet this is a spell I would cast in combat a lot. Let's pick up Life Leeching, though. We will certainly want to have Life Leeching. It's just extra winds of magic. It's, like, obviously good. Then I'm just gonna continue attacking. So we have a pretty low chance to get stuff done. Oh, because he successfully performed an assassination, so he needs to rest. This might actually be a good time for him to come back home. Maybe we can have the wizard keep an eye on what's going on over here.
March on the witches.
We'll send him back home and he can help us fight the orcs. So I think we're getting to the point where fighting the orcs is starting to look like a real option. We could assault that army. They're just going to heal it off, though, sitting here in their friendly settlement. Doesn't seem like a great use of our time. Actually, the smart move is probably to head back this way. We'll continue doing actions and getting XP, but we probably want him near where the actual conflict is occurring.
Noble son of Britonia. Traitors always get found out in the end.
Alright, charge bonus up, armor up, melee defense up, or melee attack up. Well, You know how I feel about killing people. The best way to defend yourself is killing people who might attack you. Ooh, that's a pretty cool skill. Just passively generating extra money. Seems pretty valuable. Oh, he got more than one skill point there. Alright, let's see what these orcs do. And then I should probably stop playing this game for the moment. I have a tendency to get lost in these episodes. Total War Warhammer is like a very compulsively playable game. Uh-oh, did Hexawaddle go to war with... I think Hexawaddle might have gone to war with the New World colonies. That might have been what that battle was. That's probably pretty bad for us, because if Hexawaddle takes over that whole peninsula, they are definitely going to project force at us. I don't know what Luther Harkon is doing. That was his opportunity. Why are these... It looks like they're coming after us, but why would they take such a small army in our direction? Like, they're definitely not going to be able to take that settlement. Even assuming we didn't have an army of our own, they could not hope to even challenge the walls. I'm not sure what they're doing. Well, dying, hopefully. Blue Vipers would like to attack the Temple of Tlenkan. That seems reasonable. We do still have the wall there, so they won't be able to attack it on the first turn, but my guess is they'll run even past that and toward Chotek. Oh dear. Plus 20 charge bonus for all armies of all factions, faction-wide. That's a real shame, because we don't really have that many units that benefit from charging. Many conflicts are won or lost on the strength of the first vicious charge. So sometimes you'll get these events, these like blood splattery, everybody's better at killing type events.
Captain of Scouts.
Yeah, this really sucks. We're not going to be able to stop them from reaching Chotek, probably. I mean, obviously we'll take it back. It won't be any kind of permanent loss, but it is going to be an even greater disruption of our economy. If we tried to make it over here, we might be able to make it through the swamp next turn, but we can already reach it next turn. If I were to just do normal movement, we end up way short. Yeah, alright. I'm going to march. They might just turn around and attack us. I think we would win that battle. What am I going to do with you?
The nation calls.
Okay, this would actually probably be a pretty good time to discourage these guys from chasing us. Okay, we got a rogue to help him assassinate people, and we have dramatically lowered that army's movement range for their next turn. Okay, at this point he is great at assassinating people. We're going to see significantly greater than 50% chance to kill people a pretty large percentage of the time now. Do we need to fall back and keep an eye? I'm debating whether it makes more sense to... Yeah, let's do this. Let's have him go north and reveal this Skaven settlement just so that we can see what it looks like. We should know how powerful the other nations on our borders are.
Chivalrous.
What is the right play with you? Should you stay here and just harass these dudes? To no benefit, probably, but, you know, just to be annoying and to continue gathering XP.
Honor and duty.
It probably doesn't help us too much to have him run back into the actual province. So you just keep gathering XP there, and they're not going to attack the temple. They're going to run through to Chotek. I can't tell, unfortunately. We can see that in March mode they can reach it in a single turn. I cannot tell from this whether they'll be able to reach it if they go back to normal move. And obviously they can't attack while they're in March mode. So let's hope that they don't quite have the movement range for it yet. And Hexawaddle is going to attempt to push us from multiple sides, it looks like. That's why they felt comfortable bringing a weak army over, is that they're going to use it as only part of a larger military campaign. That might really suck. That might be real bad for us. That little ship that we just saw from Clan Scryer, that's their Doom Engineer. He is going to he's going to cause some kind of powerful earthquake. It's going to do a ton of damage to a settlement. I'm very concerned that it looks like he's aimed for our land. Doesn't really make any sense for him to aim for our land, but that may well be what he's doing. Are Scryer and Hexawaddle at war? Might be... Oh, interesting. So a second army has shown up and is trying to move into a support position. We could intercept them. If we do, we'll fight them in this underground cavern that we tracked them into, and if we defeat them, it will completely annihilate their army. This is probably something that we want to do, so unfortunately, we don't have time for it right now. This is where we'll pick up tomorrow. So that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time when we kill, I don't know, I'm going to estimate somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 million orcs. And we'll see you then.